3 years into this game, Alchemy Stars has given us a fascinating and interesting world. From main factions that holds great political powers within the continent of Astra, to having the chance to explore foreign places like Lanzhou. Through the book known as Ada and the Colossus, we know that this world is called Eoria, and it's through the eyes of our protagonist, Navigator, that we get to see all that's in this world. But lately, it hasn't been just Eoria that we've been experiencing. In the past year, we've been exploring a different world. A dream world as described. Within the past year, Alchemy Stars introduced us to a new type of story event, known as dream events. Within these stories, we've had characters who, without realizing it, find themselves stuck in dream worlds. And these worlds tend to revolve around their past and differ from person to person. Sometimes it takes place in their past that closely resembles the world. Other times it would be more fantasy-like. Each dream we've seen so far at times can be about a traumatic event or a time that instilled in their hearts. You can even say at times the world replicates those events into a more desirable outcome. Among the first dream event we experienced comes from Eve, in the event Awakening in the Storm. As we know about Eve, her body began to become sick due to how strong her powers were, and when left in the care of Denier, she was constantly being experimented on, until she was able to escape. Well, in this dream world of hers, it took that experience and twisted it around, making it seem like she had recovered and never went through all the painful experience that she did. To Eve, her power was very dangerous and terrifying, something that can cause thorns, and even took away one of Sinsa's arm when they were younger. Now in this dream, she's living peacefully, not worrying about experiments or being stuck in its container, away from the fear. But that's not an ideal way to go about things, and she came to know this, being able to break away from the dream and was able to return to reality. But Eve didn't do this alone, as Navigator was there to help. Yes, you've heard. Although it was in a different form, Navigator was within the dream world. This was another look at what makes Callistites a special race. We've seen before on many occasions of Navigator interacting with others through Mind Link, whether it be for communications or taking a look at the past through memories. Over and over, Navigator continues to show incredible talent as a Callistite, this being further proven during a mini event called Echoes of Dreams, where an ancient AI known as the Lightner, made by Francis, explains to Navigator how Callistites with talent are capable of becoming dream wayfarers. She goes to say that within dreams of Orions, if the energy within them are found to be unbalanced, they end up being trapped within those dreams. In terms, when a Callistite has the talent of being a dream wayfarer, they end up getting pulled into those dreams. And this is how Navigator finds herself exploring the dreams of others. It's really been a fascinating discovery. With a still growing roster, these dream events give selected characters more spotlight, even allowing us to learn more about them. Like with Iridan, in her dream event, rather than being chief judge, she found herself taking the role of a Lumonite, not becoming aware of her situation and starting to take in the dream as reality. She finds herself going around and getting involved in cases that became related to an incident involving Polymer's and Burrow's families. While going through these cases, Iridan discovers in each of the incidents, her father was a part of these cases as chief judge, in which turn he made verdicts that affected both families. The more Iridan became involved with these cases, the more her decision and her father's became conflicted. Iridan didn't have the best relationship with her father, something you discover when reading her files, and this rocky relationship continued to affect Iridan. This dream overall was about two sides of Iridan, one that wanted to be recognized as the ideal daughter, the other a sense of justice that wanted to put an end to the corrupted pride that plagues Lumopolis. Iridan knows Lumopolis isn't the perfect utopia that it pretends itself to be, which is why she prides herself in being the chief judge that brings justice to those that were wrong. Truly a story that gives amazing sign to her character. Having went through every dream event so far, it's not too far of a stretch to point out what could be involved in every character's dream. After all, with the characters that we have so far, if you look at their profiles, you can see them mentioning things that become related to the dreams, although some will have more of a twist to them compared to others, but no doubt that we still get a bit more knowledge about their background. Just to be clear, I'm not going to go into details about every single dream that we've seen so far. After all, there has been quite a few number of them already by the time I released this video, but I wanted to point out something that I couldn't help but find fascinating. Like I said before, we tend to learn more about each character with every dream we've experienced, but it's not just characters that we learn about. On some occasions, we also get more of a glimpse of some of Astra's history. This leads me to the dream event that to this day caught my attention the most, and really the main reason I started making this video. That dream event is Regal's, 1,000-Year Vigil. If I have to be honest, this is by far one of my favorite stories within this game so far. This had more of a focus on the Silent Hunters. Since the start of the game, we never really got a lot when it came to the Silent Hunters, with the only thing we had to learn about them was their files and dialogue. Even a small cutscene when you finally managed to unlock them all. And when going through their files, you learn that they were citizens of some kingdom or lived nearby that used to exist a long time ago. But just like today's times, they had their fair share of trouble when fighting off the Eclipsites. That's when this kingdom came up with a plan to harvest and use the power of the Eclipse, in which turn created the Silent Hunters, a powerful group that each could single-handedly take out large groups of Eclipsites. You couldn't help but be curious about this group. These characters come from a time that holds a lot of history, and yet before Regal's dream, we wasn't really getting much and could only work with what we had, and yet that finally changed with 1,000-Year Vigil. Though I said it's a dream focusing on Regal, we were able to see all of the Silent Hunters make appearances, how different they were from each other in personalities, yet their companionship as a team was something to enjoy in. Regal was the only one we got to see what he looked like before taking on the project, not including his then captain Achilles. What I really enjoy about this story, outside of how good the story itself was, is fine seeing what this kingdom was like. So far we can tell there were heavy ancient Greek inspirations, as you can tell from all the designs, from the structures of buildings to the clothing of citizens, although we didn't get a name of what this kingdom was called or where it's located. Unless I missed or overlooked it, feel free to tell me in the comment section. At this time, Regal was still known as Astra to his people and loved ones. You see how much he cared about his home and wanted to protect it. His relationship with his wife Marcella was something that he held dearly to his heart, so much more than anything else. Astra was truly a happy figure during these times, which is why it was especially heartbreaking when he lost it all. First starting with the death of his wife. While he was on a mission, Eclipse was attacking his home, destroying and killing everything they come across. And no matter how fast he moved, how quickly he took out every enemy that stood before him, it was too late. Pure destruction everywhere, and the body of his wife remained lifeless in his arms. A devastating tragedy, one that would have completely broken Adras if he remained like that. I don't know about y'all, but I was completely saddened when going through this story. A man who gained strength to protect what he held dear, lost it all so quickly, yet his tragedy didn't stop there. Things just kept going against him from then on, from losing control of himself on occasions when facing betrayal by his kingdom. 1,000-Year Vigil exposed us to so much to something we knew so little about. I don't want to go too deep into this as I kind of want to save some of this for a video solely focusing on the Silent Hunters. By the time this video comes out, Achilles, also known as Claymore, will become a playable character, so I might get started on the script once I unlock him. So far I've honestly enjoyed every single dream event. Every one of them had just great and defining character moments for whoever they focus on. And as another bonus, we get amazing looking outfits for every one of them. I'm quite happy that they went in this direction. Whether it's set in an alternate path like with Irida and Regal, or a complete fantasy-like world like Karnali and Pak, they all have something to offer. Whether it reveals more about said characters or the history and lore behind the world can vary. I mean, when we look at the most recent one with Pak at the time of writing this script, her dream event gave us a glimpse of how Pak first obtained her power, meeting Hunting Stone in that dark cave. There are still so many hidden secrets that are yet to be revealed, especially when involving those of higher power, and what part they played in shaping the world as it currently is. Dream events have so much potential to get into so many different things, all depending on who they focus on. Not only was this the possibility of more heartwarming character development moments, we can get insight on certain historical events or have more telling of ancient powers we still don't know much about. No matter how you look at it, the possibilities are quite endless, especially when there are times Tour Dog holds competitions where we can choose who gets an outfit next. This has to be among one of my more favorite additions to the game in terms of lore related, and I can't wait to see who's next and what their story entails. Until then, may the truth bless you.